I thought it was very interesting. It was actually a full day of meetings. We were not only at the White House, but we were on Capitol Hill. And we were there to talk about sustaining growth, creating jobs, continue making New York the global financial capital of the world, which it is, and to talk about infrastructure and other important things to create jobs, jobs, jobs. That's what it's all about.
So, Bill, what was your big takeaway?
I think the takeaway was, in terms of infrastructure, the president and Gary Cohn and others talked about trying to make the timeline much shorter to get projects started and completed. Now it takes 7 to 10 or 12 years. They're trying to move that down to a much shorter timeline so that the bridges and the tunnels and the infrastructure can get done and help create jobs and grow our economy. So that was very important. Also, air traffic control, there was a lot of discussion about modernizing it, making it global satellite versus radar, which the Canadians already do, that will save fuel, save time, and again, create jobs and grow the economy.
Okay, so you walk away from a meeting both with the president and I imagine legislators on both sides of the aisle, and you say to yourself, I'm more confident. I think that we're going to get tax reform. We're going to get all these infrastructure things. The FAA thing, which you just talked about, has been on the table, dare I say, for probably a decade at this point. But you walk away thinking this is going to happen now?
Yes, I think there obviously some things will get done, other things won't get done, but there was definitely bipartisan support for infrastructure. There was no question about that. That was a very important takeaway, that we felt confident that that people were focused on that and trying to get that done. We met with Senator Schumer and others.
Could you see the White House pivot to infrastructure before they even take on the tax reform issue?
Well, it sounded like they were moving that forward sooner rather than later, and then tax reform will follow afterwards. But I think there was also a sense that tax reform will be much more thought through in terms of how to, politically navigate the waters in a I think a better way, and also, there was some discussion maybe not doing personal income tax and focus on the corporate side. So I think there's a lot of different ideas floating around there, but there was a general sense that this administration, and I think in Capitol Hill, that people are focused on job creation, which is very, very important for New York and for frankly for the rest of the country, Bill, and this whole sense of urbanism. I'm
hearing two new things from you just now. One is that you do think that in terms of the ordering of events, that you think an infrastructure plan is going to come forward before we get to tax reform. Is that right? Because I think previously the view had been that they were going to effort to repeal Obamacare, which obviously hasn't happened yet. Then they'd move to tax. Then they'd move to infrastructure in that order. But you think it's different?
Well, it sounds like from the president and Gary Cohn that very shortly an infrastructure plan will be announced. We have Joe's friend Richard Lefrak and Steve Roth on a commission working on infrastructure, and as I mentioned before, making that timeline much shorter to get projects moving forward. So I think, yes, infrastructure will be moving a little bit faster than tax reform. It's less controversial, and so I think there was a general sense to move that forward sooner rather than later. And then on the tax piece, your takeaway was less of a larger, comprehensive tax reform policy that includes personal and corporate, and just to do a corporate piece. Well, again, when you're in Washington, you hear a lot of different ideas and concepts from both sides of the aisle. So that there was definitely discussion on both personal income tax and corporate tax, but there was also discussion about possibly shifting to just to focus on corporate tax. So I think it's still in play on which direction it's gonna go. But there was definitely a positive mood in terms of the economy, and people, I think, feeling confident. We're seeing it in New York City. We're seeing infrastructure already happening in New York City. Tappan Zee Bridge, LaGuardia Airport. We're doing a project at the Brooklyn Navy Yard, which is owned by the city, where we've leased the land along with our partners, Boston Properties, and have WeWork as the base tenant. It's a great example of the public-private partnership that was discussed yesterday. It's a 700,000-foot building. As I mentioned, WeWork is the major tenant, and it's all about creating the environment for the jobs of the future.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.